Thank you so much to all the leaders for joining us on this podcast again. And today I've got a very special guest. I've got Mr. Sheikh joining us. He's based out in Chennai in India. And before we start the discussion, would give a brief introduction into his profile. He's a senior HR transformation leader with extensive experience driving people, process, and performance alignment across large and multi-location enterprises. He's currently serving as an assistant vice president human resource as Dawara KJFS. He leads end-to-end HR transformation for a 4,000 plus workforce. He brings a strong expertise in talent acquisition strategy, HR digitalization, performance management, and leadership development. He is known in the industry for building a scalable, data-driven, and people-centric HR ecosystems that directly supports business growth. Welcome you, Sheikh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rishikesh, for inviting. And trust it would be an interesting event for both of us.
Thank you so much, sir. So the first topic that we have for you is when organizations fail, what are the earliest people related decisions or non-decisions that usually signal trouble ahead?
See, what we generally see, most organizations track sales, financial, legal, operational risk rigorously. People risk, however, is often treated as a secondary or softer aspect. We generally see the poor leadership is often missed in the dashboard, but
Yeah.
is seen in attrition. You see disengagement, you see as poor execution. That is the thing that people is don't build instantly. It keeps on building and it accumulates silently. And it's quite dangerous for an organization in long term.
Can you share a real example, where a people risk eventually turned into a major business risk?
See, in my previous organization, there we have a people who is very good in terms of performance, but very bad in team handling. So we keep on ignoring that. Yes, the person is giving performance, but at the same time, subsequently, what happened? All the good performer, all the future leader keeps exiting the organization. Ultimately, the entire strategy collapse, the organization collapse.
So this is a problem, sir, that you mentioned. So how to take care of that? Like how should organizations avoid such kind of things happening?
See, for organization is driven by the leader, or I would rather say leadership bandwidth. That is about capacity or capability to think, to decide, and support the organization to scale. So when an organization grows, the leader acts as a coach, not as an executor.
Hmm.
Leadership work is to to take a decision on complex problem, and we as a leader should give clarity to the team and direction. When that lacks, when that kind of leadership lacks, this is often slowed down. They don't get the clarity. Team lose alignment, and at the end, execution quality drop. So strategy doesn't fail because it is wrong. It's because the leader who is driving doesn't have this capability or misaligned with that.
Got it. And as the organizations are scaling, sir, like what are the top things like HR leaders must unlearn to move from policy enforcement to true business influence?
See, generally we see the HR is one of the first evolving thing in terms of the role, in terms of the expectation. See, the traditional HR, they focus on control, they focus on compliance, they focus on role. But the modern organization HR expect this the HR should influence leader on their decision making. They should shape the decision. They should build trust and credibility in an organization. But that HR is a driving force. HR should be in the driving force in terms of scaling the organization, in terms of shaping the culture and shaping and building the capability of the people to drive and take it future higher and higher to the organization.
Yes.
That's the biggest challenge that we face.
So can you suggest a few things, which HR should do practically, like in order to make sure that they influence the business decisions?
So what we see generally, the HR team is very busy in terms of hiring, in terms of drive coordinating program, in terms of running initiative. But that is not the role of the HR. The role of the HR is what impact we are bringing to the organization, what business risk that we are minimizing or eliminating, what changes we are bringing in terms of the culture, in terms of the problem, what improve that we do in terms of the KPI and in terms of organization success. So that doesn't mean it's about policy procedure. It's about how effective we are in making business decisions. It's about thriving. It's about culture and winning in the organization, winning at the workplace.
But for that, it is very important, na, sir, like the senior leaders should also consider HR to be equal business partners. So How can we ensure that? How can HR leaders, make sure that they are equal business partners to the other leaders?
So, yes, this is the very right question. It's time for the HR to evolve from the transactional activity to the strategic activity. Transactional activity, we do keep on hiring engagement, we keeps on doing. So that can be taken by the system, by the AI. What as an HR leader we should do is about creating an agile workforce. It's about talent velocity to sustain in the market in terms of the future risk that we have. HR should more focus on the outside in development approach. What my client or my customer expect from an employee. So that kind of development program that we need to build. We need to also look on the capability gap, how we can eliminate that gap so that my team, my current team would be a future leader who will drive the organization. That kind of approach that we should have. We should focus on the culture stress point. So culture is nothing about driving performance for organization success and people success.
Yes.
That is the role, should be the core HR role.
And if you had to define the modern HR business partner, say, with a few examples, what must they do differently from traditional HR?
Yes. See, traditionally, HR is seen as the hiring part, HR is seen as the operational part, HR do the payroll and compliance. The HR business partner role is very different. It's about understanding the business, understanding the pain point of the business, understanding the risk of the business. That way we can eliminate the risk. See what HR business partner will do. HR business partner should ensure there is a continuous supply of workforce, that is qualified workforce, to meet the current and future demand. The employees should be upskilled regularly. It's about talent velocity, we can say agility, and to make them future ready. And at the same time, we need to reward and recognize the high performer because they are the ones who are very prone to exit. We should be one side, we should be holding the business team, the one who earns the bread and butter, the other side, the people who drive the business. To have a kind of a marriage between the business and the people. That is the role of the HRBP. Yes.
Got it. Great, sir. Like, would you also like to share a few kind of anecdotes or stories from your career, where when you entered into the organization, the role of HR was different, but then you kind of took some steps to change that role?
Yes. So in my previous organization, so when I joined, it was more kind of a old kind of organization or HR setup who works to all kind of manual activity and all. So on the second day, I had a meeting with the whole time director who she was taking the HR. So my first thing was let's HR to be automated. Let's HR to be process driven. We should not be engaged in terms of manual and transactional. Let the system take care. We should take care of the people and the business. So slowly it took almost 6 months, 1 year to we build the system, the technology, we build the technology, we build the robotic processes. And at the same time, we make the people used to it. It's about acceptance is also a big challenge.
Yes.
That risk we need to also eliminate. So that the biggest challenge for an organization is I should have the current performance of my employee. If I am sitting here, we have an employee of 4,000, I should know the performance of 4,000 employee as of 2nd of Feb. I should not wait at the end of the financial year when we'll have a standard PMS that is good for the for the increment. But for the organization sustainability and scalability, we should have a real-time performance, the data point. What enhancement we can do, what is going right, what is going wrong. We shouldn't, like we have Gen Z in our workplace. They doesn't wait for 1 year to get the bonus and they need instant reward and recognition. For that, the technology will help. But that HR should have the mindset, HR should have insight, and HR should own it. And HR should know the business in and out. Then only HR would be a good business partner or a good HR strategy, or we can consider as a HR as a leader. Or else it would be a kind of HR person who is doing all kind of admin role. So that's what I believe, strongly believe.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this session. Insightful discussion. And thank you so much for sharing these insights on the role of HR and especially the people crisis management that you basically talked about, which is usually ignored inside the organization, leading to their failures. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rishikesh, for inviting. It's a great interaction, and hope we will have meet in future also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.